After making 2 Hawaiian saddles with cowhide, I was speaking with Henry Silva, a well-respected Paniolo who's done lots of horseshoeing and braiding and saddle making over the years. He suggested to me on 2 different occasions that I use deer hide. He was kind of subtle about it. He said, "You can use deer hide, you know." Since he's one of the greatest braiders ever of the Hawaiian saddles, living at this time anyway, I thought I ought to take him up on his suggestion. So this is a tree that I bought off eBay. It's a Billy Cook. It's got a bit of a slick fork. And these braids are a whole lot smaller than my cowhide braids were. And I gotta agree with Henry. After working with deer hide, everything is so nice and neat and fine. There's my little horn cap. Anyway, there's no going back to cowhide for me. For those of you on the mainland following my saddle making video series, I would recommend goat rawhide if you can't get a deer hide or don't want to work with it. The next tree that I'm going to be building on is this one right here. It's from Steel Saddle Tree in Tennessee. I had it custom made for my horse because she's a Frisian and hard to fit. So I'll just pull this baby out of the way. But everything is so much thinner and nicer and neater. And I've still been braiding 3-strand braids. Henry does 5-strand braids. And so at some point I'm going to have to go ahead and try that too. But in the near future, I will pick up my Hawaiian saddle making series past the step 6 where I left off, but I'll be using deer hide instead. And today's video is to show how to make deer rawhide and even how to dye it black for whatever purpose, whether it's a Hawaiian saddle or otherwise. Thanks for watching. Okay, for dehairing deer hide, I've got a rubbish can, and there's some cowhide strip that with some really stubborn stuff. It's been in there a while. Deer hide, the hair will slip in here after 1 day, but if you leave it in 2 days, it comes off even easier. So I haven't done a video on scraping yet, but these are my scraping tools for fleshing. I've got a PVC pipe and a dull machete. Theory with letting this sit a while though, according to Matt Richards' book, Deer Skins to Buckskins, if you get the hair to where it slips really easily, not only will it all come out, but you won't risk breaking the grain there on the surface if you plan to use this as rawhide. So I used to leave my deer hides in the solution only 1 day, and then I'd scrape with my machete, and I found out what he was talking about. It's pretty easy to loosen the grain. For buckskin, you have to get all the grain off, but for rawhide, that's the strongest part of the hide and you want to keep it. So whether you use your hand or a rag, push and the hair will come out. By the way, I skipped the step. This is water and hydrated lime from your local gardening store. That is what gets the hair to slip. It's alkaline, hard on your hands. If you can wear gloves, do it. But when I don't wear gloves, I just go back over to my pickle tank, which is acidic, and give my hands a dip in there, and it helps restore the pH faster than just water. So I'm going to go ahead and get this hair off without the camera rolling, and I'll show it to you when I'm done. The reason it's on a black plastic is it's going to make the cleanup process a lot easier, and I won't have hair all over in my lawn. Okay, so real quick here, I just wanted to take the same piece of plastic that I had over the lawn to kind of collect all that hair, and now you're looking at the flesh side of the rawhide. Lots of loose hairs like to cling to it, so I drape it on the plastic bag here, and that keeps the dirt from sticking to the rawhide. And just give it a gentle rinse with the hose and grooming brush, and that helps sweep a lot of the hairs that clung to it, and now they're on the side here, and then I'm of course gonna spray down my driveway and pick up as much hair as I can. But now this hide's still pretty alkaline. You could throw it in a bucket and rinse it. I might just throw it in my pickle bucket, which is a little bit acidic, and I'll either let it pickle to get a lot of the membrane, or I mean the mucus out, or I'll just kind of let it neutralize and pull it out and use it with the mucus right in there for a Hawaiian saddle, or throw it in the freezer till I'm ready to use it later. Okay, it's morning over here in my carport in Hawaii. In this yellow bucket I have 3 hides that have been in the pickle bath. I'm going to make rawhide with them, and one I'll string up and it'll be natural, but 2 of them I'm going to put into here and dye them black with a simple recipe that's mentioned in Bruce Grant's Encyclopedia of Rawhide Braiding. So in my pickle tank, just have a couple of Costco juice bottles refilled with water, and they act as weights to pin the hide down. To pickle my rawhide, I just use the leftover pickle solution after some hair on hide tanning goes through. Sometimes the pH is a little weaker, and I'll use a little bit of pickling acid to bump it up. But even if I don't get all the mucus out of the hide, the reason you pickle is to pull the mucus and body fluids out of the skin, and it leaves it a little bit more stripped and porous and open, and that's going to allow your dye to penetrate. So 1 and 2. There's no particular discrimination. So to dye these things, I'm not going to bother to return their pH to normal or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and pour in 2 things. In a kettle on the stove, I'm going to take quite a bit of Lipton tea, maybe half of this box. This was a 8-ounce box of cheap black tea. Brew that and get it nice and strong and dark. And then in this little yellow box here, if I can lift it, we've got rusty iron. It's full of horseshoes. It's kind of my quench tank. I think more than the tea, this iron rust water is going to get your hides really, really black. The tea is useful because it's dark and it has tannic acid, and I think the tannic acid from tea or coffee will help everything penetrate the hide. But it's this rusty water here that'll do it. It covered my hides. I might not necessarily have to make tea, but I'm going to go ahead because that's the recipe.